Hello, good afternoon. Well, as you can probably see, I've got an eye infection on this side, which causing a bit of a problem. And my focus in my vision is somewhat impaired a little bit. But it does highlight the fact that different situations can affect us all, especially when we're here in the tropics. I don't know quite why it has come that way and whether or not it will resolve itself with the case of maybe a little bit of eye wash, but here's hoping it will. Otherwise I may have to find myself going to an eye specialist. It's one thing that I have noticed as we get older, of course, and especially here in Asia, even if you haven't been to Asia, one thing you will notice that many Asians have reading glasses, they have spectacles, and that is because they all suffer in general to quite poor eyesight. And I don't think actually all of the what do they call it, the multimedia that we get on these little boxes called mobile phones is actually doing us much favors either. Of course, those who watch these videos on a TV are probably better in the long run than trying to watch it on a telephone. But having said that, I'm rather hopeful that over the coming days that my eyesight will return to my normal 20/20 vision minus whatever it is for old age. So anyway, my thought for the day is not about my eyesight or the fact that I'm a little bit concerned about it. It's more about the fact that my thoughts go to the idea that so many of the videos that I've been watching, squinting I should say with one eye, highlight the fact that they come from the perspective of so many foreigners who, I believe, come here really in holiday mode. When I say holiday mode, they're not really grasping the reality of living here permanently. We all often call ourselves expats, but of course that has a different meaning to all. Those that often don't even have a YouTube channel just stay out of sight, do their own little thing and get on with life. Many that maybe spent a couple of years doing blogs, creating a channel that enables them to show you what it's like to go through the process of building a home. But once the home is built, they effectively run out of things to do. They run out of, I suppose, the energy to be bothered with YouTube channels. And then of course you've got the everyday faces that you see all the time, and they're the ones that I believe are actually using their YouTube channels to support their survival really here in the Philippines, which says a lot, because I don't believe it's just for ego. I think it's actually to provide them with that additional income. After all, just to receive an extra 10-20,000 pesos a month from doing a YouTube channel each day or every few months, every few weeks, is actually a business. It's really an extension of trying to work legally here in the Philippines. But I believe that what happens there is that it portrays the wrong concept to those that are thinking of coming here. I mean, here I am walking down I suppose we would call it a country road, minding our own business, doing our own thing, discovering somebody's left possibly a bag of something here underneath a canvas. Maybe, yes, it looks like rice, a bag of rice ready to pick it up later. But as you can hear in the background, that'll be somebody selling probably pandesal or maybe balot, a little chicken embryo in an egg, very popular here. But realistically speaking, I'm retired here. Everything I do each day is part of my everyday life. It's not dependent upon me going to bars, chatting to other foreigners over a beer. It's doing normal things like, well, a couple of days ago I was doing some tiling. Today I was nursing a sore eye, but I don't think that was to do with the tiling because I didn't do any dangerous exercises. But what happens is that life for everybody is about keeping yourself busy. If I thought that every day was a case of just sitting in a chair looking at I suppose you might say the world pass by outside the window. Look at that lovely old cow surrounded by unwanted bags of, I don't know, maybe old bags of concrete and stuff used to hold back the water. It looks dreadful, that, but no doubt it has a purpose. It's not really rubbish. Every so often the water channel down here is empty almost. This morning it was full, now it's empty. So somewhere along the line the water has drained out into the fields nearby. But all these things you notice, I just love being here in the Philippines. To me it's home. This is like a child, in a sense, a childhood revisited. Everything is so, how would you say? It's just simple lifestyle. People taking their dog for a walk, having a jog down the road with quite a big dog there. Young guy taking his dog for a walk. Just normal things, you know. In the city, of course, there's just the rush around of traffic, like any big city. But out in the surrounding neighborhood, outside of a city, we're about an hour and 20 minutes by bus from the city center, in the sense that once you get to Quezon City, I think it's called, I would say you're in Manila proper almost. You know, it just then goes on and on and on for kilometers and kilometers. And it's just like any busy city. Not necessarily the greatest place to be, but it's fun to wander around for a day if you've got something that you want to do, like roam around maybe the wholesale market so that you can look for cheap clothing that is got a designer label on it, but otherwise it's just cheap clothing. And when I say cheap, the quality is pretty basic, but it has a name that you probably know. But you can pick and choose. Sometimes you have to buy half a dozen items, but you'll get them a lot cheaper than if you went to the market here in Baliwag. It's where they buy them, I suppose you call it the bundle full. They maybe buy 100 pieces and they're random sizes and random colours, and they do their best to sell those over the coming weeks. But for me, I like to fossick around and look for the occasional bargain. It keeps my mind active. And also, as a person, I like to observe people. I like seeing people. It makes me feel a part of the community. I was watching a video this afternoon about Thailand and how the numbers are way down, and the expected numbers from China, for instance, probably around 10 or 12 million, are down to about 4 million so far, indicating that there's a major drop in the tourism trade, and therefore the cost of renting some of the apartments over there has dropped. The terms and conditions that you can rent have been more in favor of the tourist industry. Buyer beware, isn't it? It's really all about. But here in the Philippines, it is like stepping off the wheel. The infrastructure is pretty good for a country like the Philippines. It could obviously be better if the money that was put aside had actually been spent on what it was designed for, and not had the locals, politicians and dishonest workers fleece the general public out of all that money. And we're talking absolutely billions, even maybe trillions of pesos have just vanished. Projects that were earmarked and supposedly finished are no longer. They don't even exist. In some cases there's a bit of foundation down, and then the contractors have just disappeared. But somebody's pocketed all the money, and they're trying and unravel at the moment who's actually got it. And like everything, I doubt very much that they'll really get to the bottom. Somebody will be a scapegoat, no doubt, and the world will continue. But here in the Philippines, I would say that realistically speaking, it's not a hello, how are you? Big smile. A little boy, only maybe 3 or 4, comes up, big smile up to me. Just, it's delightful how innocent the people are here, and how simple life can be. But it's also a reminder that how lucky we are that we're able to retire here in the Philippines and achieve a lifestyle that we could only dream of having now back home in our own countries. In fact, I would say that for those that come from Australia, New Zealand, England, Europe, that kind of lifestyle is now no longer available to us. It's one of these things that becomes part of history. And I think that in the Philippines too, there's a lack of understanding of what really brings tourists here. I don't think that's really geared up for tourism. Sure, there's places like Boracay and Palawan, overnight, couple of days stay, in and out on an aeroplane, the chocolate mountains in Bohol. There are some beautiful places that you can go to, but they try hard. The locals do try hard to showcase what they have, but they lack the understanding of what tourists are actually looking for. So therefore, if I was going to come here as a tourist, I don't think I would actually come here, even after being here 10 years. I don't think there's enough to make me want to say, wow, I need to come to the Philippines to discover the Philippines. But I suppose if a tour operator brought me to he could drop me down in different little places, and I could be in awe of the local surroundings, and everything was provided to a sort of at least a 4-star level, then clearly I would say that the Philippines would be an interesting place to come to. But I think the main reason that I'm attracted here is obviously economically. My Australian dollar goes a long way compared to that of the dollar and having a lifestyle in Australia. And yes, prices have gone up, but like yesterday I wandered around after having a foot spa, which is having your toes and your feet all massaged and cleaned and toenails done. Very relaxing. I walked into a supermarket and it's amazing how you look around at all the Western style food that Filipinos are enticed to buy. And it would be so easy just to slip into the idea of a full English breakfast, picking out the items in the freezer, starting maybe with a Kellogg's cornflakes. Yes, you can buy them here. Nice New Zealand milk, New Zealand butter for your toast. And maybe lunchtime, a pork chop or a beef steak. All of these things are available here, but you do have to pay for them. And I would say, realistically, if you're trying to live on what would be a proper pension, a normal pension that most Australians, New Zealanders and English have, which is around $1,500 a month, I think that you'd be hard pressed to live that kind of lifestyle on that kind of money on an everyday basis. Yes, I think you can mimic it. I think you can add to a lot of the stuff. I mean, you can buy honey cured bacon, but then in the market you can buy just simple bacon produced locally. And after all, it's still salty bacon pork, and it's just as nice with a fresh egg and maybe some fresh tomatoes from the local market, and maybe what we would call over here longanisa sausage, beef or pork are available. And you can have cereal. It doesn't have to be every day. You can buy Quaker oats, and as long as you don't have a ginormous 300-pound body to feed, I think that you should achieve quite a reasonable resemblance to a Western style food lifestyle here at an affordable rate. But it will mean going to the local market. It will mean shopping around, buying in bulk sometimes, having a freezer that you can put stuff in, going to the local farmer and buying a whole pig, getting it butchered by a local butcher would certainly help achieve that cost. But that's just my thoughts for this evening as I come back home, settle down for the evening, and I hope that you get to watch my videos as I do them. Bye now.